Hi, Joe. Just an update, if you will, on how you're progressing, how the arm's feeling, how the body's feeling.
An update for you. Nice dog, by the way. I don't know. That's a dog, right? Yeah,
That's
it's the
my
background photo. I'm doing
conversation.
good. Finally, finally starting to feel definitely a lot stronger. Um, last time faced live hitters a couple days ago. Um, it was one of those things that the ball was coming out good. I think I hit 97. With coming back with not throwing as much as I could have. Timing's a little bit off. Mechanics are a little bit off. Um, you know, Definitely wild. Uh, but it's one of those things that I want to face hitters two more times max, just to try to get a feel for a little bit more intensity, a little bit more game speed. I was throwing the ball, like I said, I was throwing the ball hard. It wasn't, my giving it, obviously not going out to the first time throwing 110%, trying to, take a step back. So it was good getting off the mound for the first time facing hitters. Coming out of it healthy was huge. But going here on Monday, I'm going to pick it up a little bit. Try to throw all my pitches. Kind of pitch similarly to how I will be coming down the line or coming down the stretch with this year. So like I said, just pick up the intensity. You know, try to get after it a little bit more and see where I'm at.
When you're able to feel the way you want to feel coming out of tomorrow's time in which you face hitters, and you're healthy and you feel good and you come off, then you unfortunately have to serve the 5-game suspension. With where we're at in the calendar, do you still feel like you have enough time? Because even if you're facing hitters, it's not necessarily like a game type of situation. So do you feel like you have enough time to be where you want to be going into the postseason?
Yeah, that's obviously a big factor that's coming into play right now. The whole season's been kind of weird in that way. Like you said, I still have to serve my five. Um, so it's something that organization and front office and doc and everyone else will have to see where I'm at. Um I feel like I'll have enough time for sure, and then with the 5-game suspension, that's unfortunate, obviously, but during those 5 games, I could still you know throw as much as I can. Try to make a game like against hitters, and then obviously when the game starts, you can't be at any location that is team personnel. So I can't be in the dugout. I can't be on the field.
Right.
I have to leave. So I mean, I could pretty much kind of mimic, just getting reps in for one. It's obviously going to be guys from our team on the Dodgers, and it's not against a different opponent. So I'll definitely keep throwing during that time, and I think ultimately tomorrow's a big deal, to see where we're at for, like I said, for mechanics and from a physical standpoint. But time is one of those things that obviously is shorter, but for me, it's always been if I'm healthy and I could be as close as I can to 100%. Um, that's usually kind of what takes care of itself. I've never been a person who mentally needs to see another hitter in the box. If I'm throwing hard and my numbers say that everything's good in the bullpen, there's no difference from when there's a hitter there or not.
Last question for me. Since you've been on the IL and since you've had the suspension handed down and then reduced from 8 to 5 games, there's been other instances of this where guys have thrown at guys, behind guys. It had nothing to do with command, and they have received fewer games than you ended up receiving. Any thoughts on that?
Um, yeah, it's it definitely looks kind of fishy for myself. I originally had thoughts on it, when I saw the old Chapman thing, and I obviously knew that he was a person, and with the language that they use against me was you know,
Repeat offender.
I was a repeat offender. I already had one strike on my record, and Chapman had the same exact thing, but obviously I've probably said a little bit more words than Chapman has said. I don't think the words that I used to the people who make these decisions were very, very nice. When the appeal process went down behind closed doors, so I ruffled some feathers. So it just shows that their feelings get hurt just like everyone else's feelings get hurt. So it is what it is. Like I said, I would still like to know what they think. What the difference is, and if it's not the same, what's the standard for it? Because obviously, if it was 8, 3 games for the suspension and then 5 games for making a face, or supposedly making the other team leave benches, that's a lot of games for that. But yeah, I don't really have any more thoughts other than that. They made the decision, and that's what it is. I didn't think there's too much weight held to their decisions on that aspect. I think they were just throwing shit out there. But it is what it is. I can't change that.
Okay. Thank you, Joe.
Next question's from Dave Vassay. Go ahead, Dave.
Doesn't sound like you've moved past it, Joe. Have you gotten past the suspension, and do you need to be able to move forward with the season?
Well, yeah, when I come back, I'm a pitcher that needs to be focused on winning a World Series. But right now, like I said, it's one of those things that I'm trying to have my game speed. Like I said, but tomorrow I'm going to try to have my mechanics and my game repetition, my game intensity, and go from there, because it's one of those things that I can't serve my suspension until myself, the team, the front office, all feels like we're on the same page with being able to actually participate on the Dodgers and be able to do it at a high level. So until I throw tomorrow and see where it is, I can't start a suspension. So until that suspension's over, I'll always have a little bit of a grudge against some decisions that were made. But like I said, it is what it is, and we'll have to move on.
Joe, as far as the injury goes, is anything that you're going through right now with your shoulder, is it a residual of last September and what you were dealing with then?
There's been no thought on that for me. I think that it could be similar. It could be something that has been a residual. It could be ramping up, getting ready for a season, as quick as you can in a crazy time. There could be a lot of factors to it, without going to pinpoint it on one thing. Like I said, I couldn't like just tell you exactly what it is by trying to see the factors that were all involved. It's hard to say, like I said, but I wouldn't say it's exactly the same thing. No.
Okay, thanks.
Next question is from Kerry Osborne. Go ahead, Kerry.
Joe, you obviously came to the Dodgers after that incredible 2018 World Series. And I'm just curious, how important and serious are the next 3 weeks for you? And how important is it for you to come back and return and be an impact guy in the postseason for the Dodgers?
That's the number one factor. It's one of those things that, not being able to play, the sport that I've loved since I was 4 years old, on the best team that I've ever been a part of. And that says a lot, just because I've been on a team that won the World Series. And this Dodger team, this 2020 team, I don't care if it's short season, long season. Long season, we would have broke all the records. Short season, we're going to break all the records. This is the best team that I've ever seen. Best bullpen I've ever been a part of, best lineup I've ever seen, best starting pitchers, defense, all around. So it's not fun watching, from the sidelines, but it's fun watching the team win. But that selfish part of me wants to be a big factor on the team, and I'm not, obviously, right now. So coming back and being healthy is what I want. And, with how good our team is and the focus that we have of where we want to go this year, and obviously is to win the World Series, I would love to be a part of that. But going this long layoff is what I'm going to have to, my focus this whole time that I've been gone. Obviously I saw my suspension to serve. so the time is getting short, but I've done everything I can to put myself in the situation that I am right now. So pitching tomorrow, with kind of giving it I wouldn't say an all or nothing, but it's going to be a big step where I'm gonna test it, and it's either going to go well or it's not going to go well, and then decisions will come from after that. So I want to be a part of this team, because it's fun. Don't get me wrong. I love watching the games. I love watching this team compete. I love watching them come back. I love watching them, perform at that level that we have this whole entire season. Obviously, I'd like to be playing every single day too, to be part of it. So, my focus right now is trying to the best I can to be physically and mentally ready. So when my time's ready to be, I'll be able to perform.
Got a question from Ken Gurney. Go ahead, Ken.
Joe, is there any concern on your part about being able to pitch inside and worrying about that, an inside pitch that gets away is going to result in another suspension, even if it's a total accident?
I didn't think about it. I would assume that people would understand, but then I have to go back to my situation, and I can't assume that people would understand if that happened, because it ultimately comes down to what people deem are on purpose or not on purpose. So I'm not going to change the way I pitch. If pitching inside, I accidentally hit a batter. If something comes out of it and they say that I hit somebody, I guess I'm going to have no other choice than to fight it even further. And I wouldn't be afraid to hire my own personal attorneys and go after people who say that shit's on purpose. So that's the last thing that's going through my head when I'm on the mound. They call a fastball inside. It's not going to change my game plan. But it's something that I haven't thought about until now, kind of honestly.
Thank you.
Got time for one more. Go ahead, Bill.
Joe, the reaction on social media after things happened in Houston was pretty strong, and you were kind of hailed as a hero. Did that surprise you at all?
Did the surprise of I don't have social media, and so it's something that I would only be shown from either my wife, my family members, or B, my teammates. The only thing that surprised me were most of the shirts and hats or pins or memorabilia. That was kind of the most surprising thing, honestly, about it.